Okay, I do believe that we are now live. So welcome everybody to Shooting It with Yankee, the weekday edition. For those of you not familiar with this podcast, or not podcast, broadcast, whatever you would call this thing, video, uh, disaster is what a lot of people would call it. This is where I let everyone have a chance to ask me whatever they want to ask me. It's just a one-on-one back and forth conversation between me and the people who want to be involved in that conversation. So you can either send me questions over at shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, just like it sounds, or you can put questions in the live chat right here, which I probably won't see because it goes by too quickly for me to keep up with. Or if you really want a question answered and you want to donate to the puppy fund, you can donate through the super chat icon down there, which is that little dollar symbol. You just click on that, donate to the puppy fund. Your question pops up in a box up here, and I actually get a chance to see it. Those will get priority, of course, because it's all about money. But we put it to good use, though. We're actually on our fourth giveaway gun here now. I just went and picked it out today. The fourth giveaway gun for the needy. We got the first two were already sent and gone. The third one's about to be given away, and I'm getting ready to lay away the fourth one. So doing pretty good on that. I'm actually setting myself a goal, and I don't know if I'll make it. And if I don't make it, I don't know what I got to do. I got to not be allowed to masturbate for a month or something, I guess. I'm going to set a goal of 50 giveaway guns this year. I want to give away 50 guns. That's 50 families that in need that can't afford a firearm, that want to be a pro Second Amendment family and want to defend their families with a firearm, but just can't afford it because of financial reasons. And in this world, it's easy to see why that can be possible. That's 50 more families that will be able to do so. So that is my goal this year. We're well on our way. We've been doing this for a month now, and we're already just about at 4 guns. So spoke to my dealer today about ordering another dozen of the Walther CCPs because they're just like a perfect giveaway gun. Good caliber, good quality gun. It's something everybody's comfortable with. They're easy to rack. It's just a simple. It's small enough to carry, but it's big enough to use for home defense. It's just the perfect, and it's inexpensive, so it's been kind of perfect. I got a question here. Let's see, from Labby2. Who his icon kind of creeps me out. It looks like Uncle Fester and Pugsley had a love child. Good evening, Yankee. Do you think we're going to be facing a new assault weapons ban? Should we all be buying ARs? Well, here's the thing. Don't buy an AR unless you want an AR. I wouldn't run out and just buy one thinking I'm never going to get one because, something I've never bought, I've never bought a violin, but if they said they were going to outlaw violins, I wouldn't run out and get one because I still don't want a violin. But I think that it is a distinct possibility, especially if CNN has their way, because they are well on their way trying to be a political voice now instead of a fake news agency like the other ones. The other ones are so far have just been happy to be fake news agencies, but CNN has actually branched out into spending their money to force their agenda now, because that town hall thing they held the other night, that was creepy to me. And then it's even creepier today to see things like the Washington Post be putting it, CNN is really putting their money where the mouth is and helping set a social agenda. I'm like, well, that's not what the news media is supposed to do. The news media isn't supposed to influence or coerce. They're just supposed to report. And CNN seems to have lost track of that. So I find that all very dangerous and scary. Okay, let me go over here to the emails and see if we got any questions. Yes, someone says, I watch CNN. I watch CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. I have the news on all day long, and I switch back and forth between the three. Trump or Oprah? Well, let me ask people. Why does anyone think Oprah would be qualified to be president? I mean, I'm not saying Trump is. I'm just saying everyone's like, well, we'll elect Oprah. Well, why? What about that woman makes you think she is qualified to be president? The same woman that told everyone that the secret to a happy life is just every couple of weeks, take a break, take a couple of days and go to a spa for a couple of days. That's how out of touch reality she is. She thinks everybody else out there can just take 3 days off every 2 weeks and go spend in a spa and spend thousands of dollars. she's just she's just an uptight upper class elitist who thinks that they know everything simply because they made money. She's like Gwyneth Paltrow with the weave, so it's, although Gwyneth Paltrow has a weave also, so I guess that could also be just Gwyneth Paltrow. But I don't know why anybody thinks she would be qualified to be the president at all. Do you happen to have a link to the GOA? I think it is, to be a member. I don't have one on me, but if you just put in Gun Owners of America, their website will come up and you can join them. That was from Venosi, who donated $5, who I just have a feeling he just donated $5 and then said that just so other people out there would hear us talking about the GOA. Sneaky. Excuse me, I'm drinking soda. Sam Hartwig, you never hear about the car pistols anymore. I got a car CT380 and love it. Excuse me. That was a little, threw up in my mouth a little bit there. Pickles. You don't really hear a lot about car, but they're one of those guns that kind of like slides under the radar a lot. And I have for a long time said car is one of the best triggers of any striker fired gun out there. I just think they have an amazing trigger. So I think a lot of people talk more about the, the things they own, like the Desert Eagle and stuff like that. Whereas I think the car guns themselves, if you're looking for a single stack, easy to carry polymer gun, they're hard to beat because they are so small and they do have such a wonderful trigger. Hudson H9. Sorry if you've already addressed it. This is from Matt McLean, who donated the Puppy Fund. Well, I have addressed it. I think it's a very interesting gun. I like the fact it's kind of 1911-ish, but it's striker fired with no safety, but you can have a safety if you want one. I think it's a very interesting gun. I like the low bore axis. Of course, a lot of people put too much emphasis on low bore axis. It's a combination of bore axis, grip angle, etc., way it's designed. A lot of different things go into reducing recoil, but having a low bore axis sure does help. So I think it's a very interesting gun. I think it's a very cool gun. I wouldn't carry one, for one, because it's a relatively newer gun. And two, I just don't carry that type of gun. In fact, I'm back to carrying right now, my 586 L comp. And I got a pair of laser grips coming for it so I can see the red dot. But I'm in the process of selling my house and buying another house. And I just needed a comfort gun. Some people go to comfort foods when they get stressed. I go to a comfort gun. But the Hudson H9, I think, is a pretty interesting gun. And I think it's got a future. And I hope soon to see a red dot model. What are your thoughts on the STI International guns? This is from Crispy Bacon 92. Well, I have no real thought of them opinion of them, because I've never used one. I've never owned one. I've never really, I don't even know if I've ever shot one. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't think I ever have. And STI is one of those companies that I always think in my head, I think, well, that's one of those inexpensive, like off brands, right? And then I see one, and I'm like, oh crap, that's not inexpensive. So I'm not real knowledgeable on them. So I can't really have a lot of thoughts. That's about the only thoughts I can have. Let's see here. Matthew Goforth is asking, hey Yankee, have you had any luck getting in touch with Fort Scott? I recently ordered and tried some of the 380 and it functions fine in my car, but someone else got a car. I'm about to carry, I know I'm now carrying it, would like to try the 9mm. Aside from them not writing you back, what do you think about their ammo? Well, Fort Scott is trying to get in touch with me right now to smooth things over. If I can find it here, I'll show you what initiated them actually trying to get in touch with me. Let me see here. Where are how do you get to your messages on Facebook? I just figured this out how to do this the other day, and I've already kind of forgotten. Oh, it's that little arrow up there. There we go. Yeah, okay, here, Fort Scott Munitions. I will show you, see if you can see this. It says, hey, how's it going? I just wanted to let you know, I'm reading this backwards, about our video contest and let you know that you're also eligible for 1,000 worth of free ammo. To which I replied, fuck Fort Scott. And then they sent me the information anyway, to which I replied, oops. Then they sent me the information anyway, to which I replied, oops, I guess I have to scroll up, which I replied, clueless, because they sent me the information after I said fuck Fort Scott. And then the rest of this is them trying to convince me that I should give them another chance and talk to them, which I haven't talked to them yet, but I will soon. Not for my purpose, but for you guys. I'm gonna be like, I want some fucking free ammo for the people who win the guns. If you treat me, if you want to be make nice. So I have gotten in touch with them in a way, and hopefully we'll have more contact with them soon. Okay, Labby2 is also asking, I'll be sure to take a better picture for my icon. Anyway, if they do go after ARs, do you think they'll try for high cap mags too? Yeah, remind me, there's something I want to say about that in a second. So let me ask these other two. There, I'll write it. Well, I don't want to write it on that. Where can I write it on? Here. Can't write it on that. I already scribbled all over that. Here, I'll just write it right here. So I'll get back to your question here in a minute more in depth, because I wanted to be able to go off on something here. But I wanted to be able to answer these questions first that came in before I go off. How do I find them? Here it is. John Mandrake saying, hope move and house sell buy is going well. I keep getting YouTube ads before your videos. Are you getting that money? I'll tell you what I'm getting money from. The only real money I'm getting from YouTube is from YouTube Red, where people prepay, because I can't say, oh, you don't get paid for them watching your videos if they already prepaid, because that's not advertiser revenue. But that seems to be about the only real money I'm getting from YouTube. I'll get like trickles of money from ads, but you got to remember the same ad that they would, like if they would run, let's say, a Pepsi ad on Logan Paul's channel, he'd get $5 for it. If they run the same ad on my channel, they give me 2 cents, because they charge the manufacturers less for gun channels. I guess they like the channels that show corpses better. So getting a little bit, but mostly from Red. Joel Rogers donated $5, says, what do you think about the deputy that did not go into the school and try to stop the shooting? He resigned today. Fair? Oh, I got a lot to say about that in a few minutes too, so I'll get back to that. So just keep listening and you'll hear about that here in a second. Are your kids, friends, parents familiar with your following on YouTube? How do you handle dissenters? I find myself offending pretty much all my kids' parents' friends. Some of them know me personally. Like there's one that when he first came to the door, a friend of mine's a friend of my son stayed overnight, and he came to the door. His dad came to the door next morning to get him, and I went and opened the door and said, he'll be right out. And I just looked horrible. I just woke up in my boxer shorts and a t-shirt, and he's like, you're the Yankee Marshal. So I'm like, oh crap. But yeah, some of them know, some of them don't, but all of them know I have guns. I make sure that all of them know I have guns. So that way, if they have a problem with their kid come over here, they can say something. Never yet had a real problem. So all the kids think it's cool. So never had a problem yet, but we will see. Let me make sure I caught all the, what do you call them? Super chats real quick. And then I will go off on a couple of the topics here. Make sure I got all these. Hope the house sale, kids' parents. What do you think of that deputy, which is what I'm going to get back to. If they ban AR-15s, would it include uppers and BCG? Well, if you can't get a lower, what does it matter? And if you can't get lowers, who's going to produce stuff for them? So that would just be taken care of by the market. It would be gotten rid of by the market. So, okay, I want to go back to a couple things here. First, I want to go back to the gun ban question about ARs. Do you think they go for high capacity magazines too, which were just really standard capacity magazines, but for illustrative purposes, we'll talk about the the icon it's using for my chat right here is the screenshot of me saying, telling off Fort Scott. Brooke Baldwin the other day, and I posted something like this on Facebook and Instagram. Brooke Baldwin, one of the CNN reporters, She was talking to a Republican and a Democrat from Florida and talking about why they didn't vote to hear this ban and how that was so horrible of them to not vote to listen to this. And she decided during that interview to make it very clear that it was more important to her to be rude and interrupting and contradictory to the Republican than it was for her to be right, because she agreed with everything that the Democrat said, even though he was wrong, and contradicted the Republican on everything. And I'm not a big fan of the Republicans, but let's be fair. He at one point said, well, the reason I couldn't vote for this bill is because it bans so many guns, not just ARs. So she said, where do you get that from? I don't believe that's true, blah, blah, blah. And the Democrat said, no, that's not true. And she believed him, didn't question him at all. And the Republican said, just go read the bill. So later, after she's been a jerk to the Republican the whole time, been nowhere near impartial, just very partisan, she says, oh, and here's what the bill would have banned. It would have banned automatic and semi-automatic AR-style weapons, military-style weapons, including the following brands, which they basically in the bill just went through and listed every maker that makes an AR and said, you know, ARs by this company would be banned. But then she just failed somehow to read, to say that was just 1A. 1B is any rifle that has a detachable magazine and has one of the following characteristic: a heat shield, a threaded barrel, removable sight, you know, all this stuff like this, which meant my 1022 would be illegal. So pretty much all rifles that are semi-automatic would be illegal because they could do these things, take magazines and have one of the following things. So it would have banned most rifles. But then it goes on 1C to say any handgun that has a detachable magazine and can be fitted with one of the following: a threaded barrel. You can buy a threaded barrel for pretty much every semi-automatic handgun. And then it went on to list other things, but most handguns would have been banned from that. So if you think they're just going to go after ARs, no, they're not. And are they going to be very dishonest about it? Yes, they are. Their goal is not to take away ARs, because they know that the only reason ARs are involved in more shootings is because there's more ARs out there. They're very common. That would be like, if they wanted to use the same logic, they'd have to be like, we have to ban Toyota Corollas because Toyota Corollas are involved in more highway accidents than any other car, any other single make of car. Knowing that that's only because Toyota Corolla is like the #1 fucking selling car of all time, and there's a lot of them on the roads. So their logic is stupid, and they're not going after ARs. They're going after all guns. So pay very close attention to this stuff. And Brooke Baldwin is a bald-faced liar. Or is it bold face or bald face? Whichever one. She's a fucking liar, because she very clearly could have read on the rest of that definition. She chose not to because she wanted to support her opinion and not let people know the truth about the bill. So fuck Brooke Baldwin. And not in a friendly way. And then what was going to go? Oh, the officer. Oh, boy. Joel Rogers asked about that officer, did not go into school for it, and said he resigned today. Is that fair? I think a firing squad would be fair, to be honest. I am so sick of cops saying, well, we got to do this and we got to do that because our job is so dangerous. Our job is so dangerous. It's okay if we shoot innocent people because we have to be on edge because our job is so dangerous. And then when they face actual danger, they don't do anything. They don't actually face it. Your job's supposed to be dangerous. That's why you get paid to do it. And that's why you get to carry a gun. And that's why, you know, you have a badge, and everyone wants to do it because they want the authority. Or a lot of people who do it want to do it because they want the authority. You accept the danger. This guy is a coward. This guy, basically, as far as I'm concerned, deserted his post. Let's remember, Nicholas, whatever his face was in that school for a little over 5 minutes. He was in the building firing for 5 minutes before he snuck out. They say it's under 6 minutes, so a little over 5 minutes. Or I guess it could be like 3 minutes, but it was, I think it was 5 minutes and something. During that time, of that 5 minutes and some seconds, for over 4 minutes of that time, that deputy was aware the shooting was occurring, was in a position where he could have acted, but chose not to engage because he was fearful. I mean, I guess he's going, oh, I was afraid I'd hit somebody else. That's a garbage argument, because what's the bigger risk? You accidentally shooting someone if you miss, or the person who's actively shooting people with an AR in the building? Of course you take the shot and you try to take him down. You don't worry about collateral damage because collateral damage is already occurring. So that's stupid. He's, as far as I'm concerned, no, he should not be just allowed to resign. He should be put in front of a firing squad, as far as I'm concerned, as a parent. Of course, I know that's probably not a viable solution to punishment, but viable option for punishment, but that's my personal opinion. And the two officers that covered for him that are now on paid leave while they investigate why they covered for him, then blue line, fuck them too. They should be fired. And that police chief should be fired. And he shouldn't be on TV espousing gun control. He should be trying to get his own house in order and then resign. So fuck them, that sheriff and all of them. Okay. Let's see here what we got here. Rob Rodriguez donated $5, but he didn't ask a question. Let me see if I missed any super chats over here while I was ranting. Why is that not upload? Okay, reload. There we go. Yankee, I emailed you for the gun, but I need to make sure it was right. Okay, I don't know what that means, but if you're emailing shooting left of center, if you're talking about the free gun giveaway, you always have to put in the line, put in the subject line, because this is what I search for when I search for the entries. Put in the subject line, TYMP, as you know, like one TYMP initials, like in an acronym, one word, pistol project. TYMP pistol project is what you got to do to make sure that I see your nominee. G.I. Joe Rowe. I love you, Yank. Bold-faced lying fuckers will be brought to justice in this world or next. We must support the sane and uncorrupt like Rand. I assume he means Rand Paul. Rand Paul's not my favorite person in the world. I disagree with him on a lot of things, but boy, I like him a lot better than like Brooke Baldwin. As far as politicians go, he's probably one of my favorites. One of my least favorite right now is that little fucker, Mark Rubio, that little high heel wearing little bitch. He is the most opportunistic, spineless, just wants to be president so bad, little motherfucker. Of course, he's like Donald Trump's worst person ever. And then as soon as Donald Trump gets power, he's like, I love Donald Trump. And then because, he wants to ride those coattails. And then gun control, this whole CNN thing, this is different. So, of course, he jumps on that bandwagon and changes his tune on armed teachers. And Justin Heim donated $5, but didn't ask a question. So fuck Mark Rubio. That was an unsolicited rant there, by the way. Zeitgeist 357. Do you believe Generation Z will be anti-gun? Liberal media has been fawning over this idea, and I hope it's not true. Well, they will be if we don't help them become pro-gun. If we allow certain groups of people to, it's like people in the in depressed area, like in the hood, places where there's a lot of poverty, they tend to be kind of anti-gun in big cities because all they ever see are bad guys with guns. So they start associating guns with bad guys. They have to be able to associate guns with good guys too. So we have to be more involved in our youth. And here's another hint. Let's stop just caring about mental health after there's been a shooting. Let's make that one of our central elements of our argument and one of our stances. But I don't think they will be. You got to remember, what's going on right now is artificial, and it's being so pumped up. Do you think these kids organized their own rallies and their bus trips and stuff within a day of their shooting? No, they didn't. Bloomberg money and everything stepped in through politicians and organized all this and then manipulated their voices. And it's true because the media became so defensive about it. They're saying these are paid actors, blah, blah, blah. And they never have mentioned anything like that in the past, except for now they're mentioning it because it's so obvious and they're trying to cut off the criticism before it actually becomes a problem for them. So, yeah, fuck the media. But I don't think kids are necessarily anti-gun. People are always like, this generation is going to be different. Every fucking generation said that. When I was a kid, it was supposedly the hippies that were my parents that were going to make the world about peace and love. And then they grow up and they learn about reality and their opinions change. Because let's let these kids have an opinion, but let's not pretend that their opinions are based on knowledge or experience or maturity or any of those things. They're the opinions of angry children, and that's all they are. So sorry. Joel Rogers, I agree with 100%. I agree 100% with you about all of them down there. About all of them down there. I was the odd man out at work today with that opinion. With all of them down there. I don't know what that means. What did I say about all of them down there? Not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe I'm agreeing to something I don't know I'm agreeing to. Your thoughts on Trump saying NRA will back raising age to buy SBRs? Trump is operating under the order of the NRA. The NRA has told him these are things you can support because those are things he can support that they can get passed. And then the NRA can be like, oh, Lordy, they did. They took away our bump stocks. And, oh, you need to write us a check. Oh, we don't know. Write us a check. That's their whole game. So don't be falling for this bullshit that Trump and the NRA are on opposite sides of anything. They've done this trick so fucking often that it doesn't fool anybody. Well, it does fool some people. Based on the comments I get on my videos, it fools about 10% of the people. So there are still people that get fooled by it. Peter S. and Mark Hill both donated to the puppy fund, but did not ask a question. Let's see here. Another question came in. Mr. Jeff Nymil, for some reason, the questions aren't coming through. Maybe people are asking, they're just not coming through. So if that's the case, if you people did ask questions and they're just not showing up, say something in the chat as to whether you did or didn't ask a question, because I don't want anybody else doing a super chat if they're not coming through. And I've seen the last $3 $5 things not having questions attached. Let me see over here if they come through on my actual list over here. Nope, they're blank. So there's been a bunch of them that are blank. So I'm hoping they're not working. Did you people not ask questions, or are they just not showing up? Well, here's one that came in of a question. Did your opinion of Dana Loesch change after the CNN, or how you pronounce it, change after the CNN town hall? No, not at all. Because the best things about shills and actors is they're good on stage. She's a shill and an actor, and she's good on stage. I never expected anything less from her. Didn't say she wasn't good at her job. I just think she's a charlatan. And if the other side would promote her bikini pictures and pay her more money, she'd switch to the other side. And fuck her husband. Her husband keeps coming at me like, you're insulting a woman. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'll stop being a sexist, you motherfucker. If she's such a strong, vibrant person, I don't think she needs you defending her. So shut up. No, I don't think any better of her after the CNN town hall. I mean, she did her job. I appreciate that she did her job, but it's all tricked by the NRA anyway to gain money and lose us rights. So fuck her and fuck the NRA still. Yeah, opinion did not change. Although that town hall was the biggest bunch of garbage I'd ever seen. It was clearly a partisan event sponsored by supposed media to promote a political idea. And like I say, I find that very dangerous that that's even acceptable, much less applauded. E.M. Taka donated $20 and didn't ask a question. So I don't know if anyone... trying to see, did anybody ever answer if they asked questions? Because this one's got a question on it. Mark Livingston, Smith & Wesson Airweight 38, good for home defense for a woman first-time gun owner, or would you recommend something else? I'm buying one new for her for $315. Put the right ammo in it, and a woman can handle the little airweight guns. Well, she might be a big, sturdy woman that can handle a 500 Magnum for all I care, for all I know. But if you're thinking about she might have trouble with the recoil, my sister shoots mine sometimes, and she likes to shoot what she likes to shoot through the, and she also shoots this through her own personal gun, is that pink ribbon labeled 38 special from Hornady. that it's a low recoiling 90 grain, I think, 357 Magnum, or I forget what grain it is, but it's a lightweight 357 Magnum, low recoiling round. And my sister says it's really manageable in the lightweight guns. So I would get her, if you're gonna get her that gun, look into that ammunition. But yeah, they get it some at such a good price. Wish I could find some for like $315 around here. I'd give away some of those in my gun giveaway. I might speak to my dealer next, see if I can also get a special order of like Smith & Wesson 637s or something. Because that would be great for the giveaway, I think. And I could just alternate which one I give away. Hey, Yankee, thanks for the advice on FMK versus CZP09. Got to feel both and went with the CZP09. I agree. Also, do you see anything good coming out of this travesty? And get back to staging. Get back to staging. I don't know what I mean. Do I see anything good coming out of this? If we can get more security in schools, people. And here's the thing, I get sick of this. We can't possibly be totally secure. But then they ignore the fact that you fucking propped open the doors an hour before school was out because you don't like the kids backing up in the hallways and taking longer to get out, because that means the janitor has more mess and has to take longer to clean. So fuck that shit. The doors should be locked from the outside. They're like, oh, there's doors to the classrooms. Yeah, they don't open from the outside. Keep the fucking doors locked. Have security officers there that'll actually fucking do something. Give a teacher to a gun, because the teachers actually care about the kids. The security officer obviously didn't. He's just there to be an enforcement, because that's what they use them for. They use them as enforcers for kids who misbehave. They get them in trouble with the police instead of just sending them to study hall. So yeah, I just could go off on that all night. Vinosi says, how would you go about explaining all this BS to your kids and why everyone at school is suddenly anti-gun? I just explain the truth to them. I just give them my side. My kids are smart and they get to make their own decisions, but they don't fall for this stuff. Zachary W. Picked up my new inbox Kimber Hero today. Have you seen it yet? I think it looks nice for a tactical baby poop operator gun. I have seen it. I mean, I think it looks pretty cool, but I'm not really big in the 1911s, although I don't have it sitting out here. Although people who watch my Patreon know what I'm although-ing about. If you're a Patreon supporter, you know what I'm although-ing about. Let's see here. Mr. Jeff 9mm, Ruger GP100. What are your thoughts? I know you like Smiths, but I don't own a revolver and really like the GP100 4-inch. I like the GP100. The only thing I have with GP100s is that they are a Tang style grip frame. I prefer a full style grip frame, but that's a personal preference. Otherwise, they're great guns. They're a little bit heavier than a Smith. They're not quite as refined as a Smith, although they're getting more refined. Rugers are getting nicer. Got over 1,100 people watching right now. They're getting nicer. So believe me, I am pro Ruger in every possible way, because not only are you getting a great gun, you're getting the best customer service in the business. If you ask me, Smith & Wesson has good customer service too. Don't get me wrong. Every time I've ever dealt with Smith & Wesson customer service, it's been a very positive experience. But Ruger they just are the nicest you can deal with when it comes to customer service. So you'll never hear me say, don't buy the Ruger, because I'm a big fan of Rugers. And plus, Ruger makes some nice guns. Red Hawks are really nice. GP100s, SP101s, all their single action guns are amazing. I got several of their single action guns. There's one right there on the wall right there. A Vaquero. Hey, you missed a $2 chat, Yankee. Here, let me update over here and see if those tend to go by quicker. I see one from David Matthews, but there's no question. Oh, okay. I see the one I missed right here from Josh Ben Ware. And it's a good question too. Opinion on raising age to 21 for rifles. Okay, now I am many things. I'm a complicated person. I am an enigma wrapped in a riddle, rolled in bacon and then deep fried, because, I have a lot of complex opinions. But on this one, I'm kind of just staying out of the argument on the legal age for things, simply so I don't seem like a hypocrite. Because here's the thing. I am not against attacks on the Second Amendment. I am no compromise when it comes to the rights of adults in this country. However, I am on record saying that no one under the age of 25 should be allowed out of their house. So it would be kind of hypocritical for me to start saying I think 18-year-olds are mature enough to handle voting or joining the military or anything like that, when I quite often say that they shouldn't even be allowed out in fucking public till they're 21, and then only to work until they're 25. And then once you're 25, then you can just roam the streets if you want. So I kind of just stay out of the age argument because, like I say, things I'm going to say, I've said in the past, are going to come and haunt me. And plus, I have in the past said that I'm a firm believer that this whole notion that people are adults at 18 years old is as outdated as the notion that they should be married when they're 14. Because believe me, that used to be a thing. My mom got pregnant with me at 14, and that still holds on in some of the old world countries. And it's a very outdated concept. And it's as outdated as a concept that 16-year-old girls should marry 30-year-old men, which used to be a thing. So human beings are not emotionally and mentally mature until about the age of 25. So I don't want to get into an argument with someone that an 18-year-old is an adult, because I don't think I can win that argument. And plus, like I said, I will come across as a hypocrite. But let me say this. If they raise the age of rifles and to 21, like they do handguns, well, the age of drinking is already 21. But then I do believe also, and the Democrats are never going to go for this, the age to vote should also be 21. And then the Republicans are never going to go for this, but the age to join the military should also be 21. Because I'm a firm believer that people that are only 18 years old and often 16, 17 years old when they're signing papers shouldn't be able to make a decision that could end their lives. You know, like I said, shouldn't even be out in public till they're at least 21 and not roaming around till they're 25. So I'm going to have to sit this one out simply because of my past opinions, but I'll leave it up to you guys to fight these ones. I can't fight every argument. Justin Heim, Taylor Dove says thoughts on Remington filing for bankruptcy. And I was like, it's only a matter of time. They've been putting out shit for years, just total shit for years. So that last gun they put out that they thought was going to save their company is unshootable. So that's why they about that. Justin, is that Jaime? Hey, Yankee, I often end up buying at big box stores because of negative reviews for the local gun shops in Portland. Is there one you would recommend? Well, the one I recommended the most is out of business now. That was Gun Broker. Keith's is okay if you get used to Keith. They're kind of gruff, gravelly people, but they deal with assholes all day. So you kind of understand it. Once they know you're an actual real customer and something, they treat you nice. They treat me nice. So I would recommend Keith's, and plus they have pretty much everything you want at a good price. Keith's Sporting Goods is probably the one I would recommend in Portland the most right now, because I can't really think of a lot of gun shops in Portland right now anymore. Definitely not the Gun Room. Don't go to the Gun Room. But Keith's probably the one I would recommend. So yeah, I answered that question, I guess. That guy donated $10 to the puppy fund and says, have you heard any positive work on social program improvements? Also, do you think that we're going back to having a negative outlook on mental health? I think that a lot of people want to demonize mental health, and that's a bad thing. Like when Trump the other day was like, we're going to find these bad apples and we're going to nab them and get them out of there. Like, it's not what we're going to do. We're going to identify vulnerable people, and then we're going to make sure they don't go down that road. That's what human services is, and that's what mental health is. It isn't about preemptively punishing people because they fit the profile for someone who's going to eventually do something wrong. That's the authoritarian asshole version of what that idea is. And I don't go for that at all. And that's one of the things I'm pissed at Trump about right now. But we definitely need to improve our mental health system. We definitely have to start having resources available to social services, because they're like, social services said he wasn't a threat. Well, social services has to say that. And believe me, I worked for social services. And here's the thing. Unless that person is coming at you or the deputy with a knife, you pretty much have to say they're not a threat. Because here's the thing. If you say they are a threat, well, there's no resources. The police can't take them in. You can send them for a 72-hour hold somewhere if there's a space available, which 90% of the time there isn't, especially not for juveniles. So If you say they're a threat and then you find out you don't have a bed for them and you don't have resources to protect them and others from them, well, then as soon as they do something wrong, you're now liable, or you face liability. So you have to pretty much label everybody, oh, they're not an immediate threat to themselves or others unless they're actively stabbing someone at the time so that the police can intervene. If they're not committing a crime, you pretty much have to label them safe. Zachary Double says, did you join at 17? Are you saying you regret it? I did. I don't think I regret joining the military, but I know a lot of mothers who regret their sons joining the military at 17 years old. And I don't think people at 17 are together enough. Now, there's always an exception that some people are together enough, but here's the thing. If you're together enough at that age to make decisions, then be emancipated. That's always an option. I'm not saying I regret it, but I just don't think most kids are qualified to make that decision at that age. Afro Jazz 8 says, what do I tell someone that says that 60% of guns from Chicago are coming in from other states with lax gun laws? I was stumped on this one today. Well, here's the thing. If those guns are in, let's say they're in West Virginia first. They didn't commit crimes in West Virginia, so why are they committing crimes in Chicago? If it's the gun that's the issue and West Virginia has 5 times more of them, well, then why isn't their crime rate 5 times higher? It isn't the gun. The gun isn't the problem. It's pretty easy to answer that one. Rob Zombie, 1845. I enlisted at 17, wouldn't change it. I'm a bit beat up for 21 years old because of it, but it gave me skill set to open my eyes to the world. Well, you can get a skill set going to community college and not go out and fight for corporate America, which the military is slowly becoming. So, well, not even that slowly. I just don't think 17-year-olds are mature enough to make decisions like that. The vast majority of them. Of course, I guess of course, you can also throw in the argument that the vast majority of them that aren't mature enough to make decisions like that don't want to join the military. The ones that actually know they want to. But of course, a lot of people, let's not pretend everybody who joins the military did it because of sense of duty or because they want to. It was the only way out for me. I was poor in a poor town, couldn't afford college otherwise, had to have a job. There were no jobs available. Boom, military. Is there a one-stop shop database with links to FBI, DOJ, etc. statistics? Facts often get them to stop chanting, put down torches, and think for a minute. There's not really that I know of, but there are some that try to gather information together. But you're always better getting your information from the source. Go directly to the source, not try to find a Cliff Notes version. Because when you try to go to Cliff Notes version, you end up missing something. Dave Matthews, what's your opinion of the new Ruger carbine versus the M1 for my first carbine? Any alternate suggestions, alternatives? I like the new Ruger carbine. It's very cool. When it was back, when it wasn't a takedown, it was a nice gun. Now as a takedown, it's for the price. I don't know if there's anything I would say could beat it for the price. So I would say definitely get one of the Rugers. Like I say, you're not going to hear me often say don't get the Ruger. Lim K donated to the puppy fund here, $10. We had to put our beloved dog Lola to sleep this week. Please accept this donation in memory of her. Keep fighting the good fight for guns and animals, and hopefully vets too. But thank you very much, and sorry about Lola. Now I want to know what type of dog Lola was and how old she was. My Mavis is getting a little stiff in the mornings now. She's 8. 8's old for a bulldog. The 12 is about all you can hope for. So a 12-year-old English bulldog is an old English bulldog. But here, let me see if I can find this video. I'm going to show people what I want. Here's what I want. And I know someone who runs a rescue for them. So I'm telling them, hey, if one of these comes available, I got to have it. Let's see here. Well, if I knew how to work my phone, this would go a lot faster. Let's see here. Where is it? Where is it? Aha, here it is. Okay. Can anybody see this? This is what I want. He's a stalking, and then he gets seen, and he tries to run for it. But where'd that wall come from? It wasn't there because he came out of the sea. There he is. He's a stalking you. Isn't that adorable? I want that so bad. Look at that face. Look at his face when he sees him. Oh, I'm totally in love with that little fat puppy butt and those little wrinkles. And but for those of you who know, that's Pit Bull, American Pit Bull. I want one of them so bad. Thoughts on crisis actors versus them being students? These are students. I don't like the whole crisis actors garbage because that's stuff that, like Alex Jones makes up. So stay away from that crisis actor garbage because that really blew up in people's faces at it because they're like, oh, nope, these are real students. Just because someone's a real student, though, doesn't mean they're not being manipulated by what to say and having stuff written for them. Just like that guy that's the son of an FBI agent. Of course, he's out there being manipulated with what he says. Because if you've paid attention, they are really articulate when they're giving their speeches and stuff. But then they get them on these shows, and they've stopped doing it quite so much. I noticed that, like, after the first day, they quit having them on live as much. Because you get them on live, and you ask them a simple question, and they have no idea what to say. Because they haven't been prepped for that. So they had to start being more careful about what they asked them and not having them on live as much, which is fine because they're kids and that's to be expected. But it's clear that they were organized, manipulated, funded from an outside source, and that's not hard to believe. I mean, these kids didn't do this; they didn't rent 20 buses in a day themselves. And these senators that are doing it, you think they're doing it with their money? No, they're funneling Bloomberg money into the mix. So, yeah, it's just they're not crisis actors. There's no these aren't false flags. Bad things happen. People who yell false flags, I'm just like, you're a fucking mental midget who can't handle the fact that freedom has its risks and bad things happen. And if you can't handle that, then shut the fuck up, because you're just making the rest of us look bad. AC Cat 2069, I guess is how you say that. What is your opinion of the Kimber K6S 3-inch barrel? Have you handled one yet? How do you feel about this versus the SP 101? Much prefer the SP 101 3-inch, even though you get an extra round with the Kimber. Don't like the double action only of the Kimber. And with that 3-inch barrel and no hammer, it looks fucking funky to me. I mean, it looks like a mistake of a design. That's one of the ugliest revolvers I've ever seen. So yeah, just no. You should get a python, cute puppy faces. Schnauzer puppies are the cutest. The students are handed speech to read. But a crisis actor was caught. No, a crisis actor wasn't caught. There was one girl who's a college student now who was a former student. And they're like, crisis actor. No, she's still a former student. Resource officer, they're talking about that. Yeah, we discussed that just a little bit ago. Some blue pit bull. Yep. Oh, it's so cute. It doesn't even have to be blue. I would prefer blue, but it doesn't have to be blue. Can be red, brown, tan. Can be whatever. As long as it's little, wrinkly, fat, and cute, and going to grow up to be a pit bull, I definitely want it. How do we fight the misinformation spread by mainstream media, online, and cable, since most people get info from them, don't know the difference, by the way, auto versus semi-auto, clip versus magazine? Don't know the difference, by the way. I think they mean between. Well, the best way you can spread information is be active. Engage people in conversations, not argue with people, engage people in conversations. Like Dana Loesch or whatever her name is, like her the other night, you notice she wasn't trying to argue with people. She was trying to engage them in conversation. That's why she got her job. Because people don't want to be argued with. Although that one woman that's like, they were talking about, I saw a thing today. She's like, Dana gets schooled by, history teacher about the Second Amendment. And like, she didn't get schooled. That other woman ended up looking like an asshole and a moron. They were talking about muskets. And she's like, well, they had other guns, not just muskets. They had belt-fed rifles, etc. And she's like, it doesn't make it right. It just makes everything you said wrong, though. That was the point. So no, she didn't get schooled. That woman ended up looking like a fool just because you believe her. But the best way is just to engage people, stay active on social media. That's why it's really important we keep social media alive right now. Because let's face it, if it doesn't happen on the internet, it doesn't happen. And if it isn't on the internet, it isn't real. So we have to stay on the internet. We have to stay visible. We have to keep spreading our story. Grizzly Jim, what do you think of gun owners with mental illness? People like me who have had PTSD and panic disorders, but have never been violent. Well, there's lots of different varying degrees of mental illness. Everybody thinks that everyone that has mental illness is, one missed medication away from slaughtering a busload of people. That's just not the reality of mental illness. I'm a firm believer that to be denied your gun rights, you have to have been convicted of a crime or charged with a crime that was bargained down because of mental illness, being basically saying you aren't competent. In other words, you have to be adjudicated by the court or by doctors or something else to lose your rights. Because if you just suffer from, mild acrophobia, that's a mental illness, but it's not anything that makes you a danger. You should have to be adjudicated. You should have to have a court stand up and say, this person isn't responsible for their actions. They are not competent enough to make their own decisions. They have to have a guardian. Then you should be able to be denied just like a criminal or a child. And I'm okay with that because even in the days of the founders, certain people didn't have rights, slaves, of course, that's not right. But they were still continuing that trend nowadays in many different ways. Also, people that were convicts, people that were criminals, they didn't have rights. People that had done certain things, socially, didn't have rights. So they had groups of people that didn't get their rights. And sometimes you had to have land before you had rights. So the whole notion that certain people can have their rights suspended or denied is not foreign to the founding fathers. They were practicers of it. Okay, here. Casino Boss. Is the new Colt Cobra an instant classic? My first wheel. Is it a candidate to get a second as a never shoot? I don't know if it's an investment gun because so many people are buying it. So I don't know if it'll ever be super valuable unless, of course, they quit making them again. But it definitely is a gun to own because it's a very nice little revolver. If I saw someone carrying one, I'd be like, that person's got class and knows a good gun because I'm really being fond of mine. How do we? Oh, I already answered that one. George Parody, looking to get my first revolver. What do you suggest? Looking at 38 or 357? Well, that last question, the Colt. If you want 38, that Colt Cobra is an amazing little gun. If you're looking for 357 Magnum, I always suggest a 686 plus. Get 7 rounds. You can get it in like 2.5-inch barrels or longer if you want to carry it. If you just want it for the range, get a 4-inch barrel. But you can't go wrong with 686 for that, unless you want something smaller for carry. And then I would say, LCR, if it's primarily a carry gun, LCR-X is an amazing gun. So there's just all kinds of options out there. Just go start handling them and see which one you fall in love with because there's so many nice ones at the gun shop. But that little Cobra is a nice little gun. Josh Benware. I just want to say Coco Beware. Are we screwed in 2020? I mean, Trump is the only choice against Dems. What the hell can we do? Third party is wishful at best. I'm hoping a third party comes alive in the 2020 election because what are we going to get from the Democrats? But Bernie's too fucking old to run again. And none of the people that are like vying for Hillary Clinton's position do I like at all. So who are we going to get to run? Who are they going to get to run against Trump is a question. And if Trump even runs again, maybe it'll be someone like Rand Paul or something. Which in the last election, I wanted to see Rand Paul versus Bernie Sanders. That was my dream, but it did not come to fruition. Dizzy 01, not Jizzy 01. No question, just love dogs and want to help out. I have a 10-year-old English Black Lab, Genevieve, and a 2-year-old Australian Shepherd. My sister just got a little Australian Shepherd. That gray, I don't know, Jarrett B says that gray pup looked like my young American bully, Retro. Oh, that's a cool name for a doggy, Retro. They can almost say their name, Retro. What was I getting ready to say? I'm moving through here, make sure I didn't miss any. questions. And okay, I'm caught up. They came in really quick there for a little while, so I was falling behind. What was I going to ask? What was the question? Oh, I was just saying, my sister got an Australian Shepherd. Apparently, her neighbors had one. They had a baby, and they had just gotten the dog. The dog's only like 2 years old. They had a baby, and then they started just putting the dog out in the backyard. I mean, like constantly, all day, all night, pretty much. And my sister went over and said, "Hey, can I walk your dog for you? Because I walk my dog every day, and he'd like someone to walk with because their fences butt up to each other, so they're always rubbing noses during the day." So she started walking the dog for him for a couple of weeks, and she basically said, "Are you all trying to give her away?" Because they'd said something about it, and they're like, "Yeah, we just don't want to keep her. We got the baby, blah blah blah." So my sister now has an Australian Shepherd, like a 2-year-old. Her name is Bella. So now she has a little Australian Shepherd. Okay, here I think I'm all caught up on. Whoops, no, here's one. What would you do if they did a mandated buyback? I'm not going to willfully comply with any types of buybacks. If they come to my house and say, "We're here to get your guns," I'm not going to fight with them. I'll be like, "Take what you can find." Yeah, well, I'm not going to say it like that, but that's what you take what you can find. I'm really good at hiding stuff. And let's face it, if any of us in here really wanted to hide something, a little drywall and spackle, then what are they going to do? Tear your house down? So little bit of take up a couple of floorboards, pull back the carpet in the corner, build in a little box, always keep your gun safe out and keep it relatively full as a diversion. But, I am not going to comply with disarmament, period. Not willingly. They will have to come take them, and then they will have trouble finding them. And then when it comes time to do something other than just when it becomes time for, if a revolution occurred, I will be willing to join that revolution. I'm not going to go out and become a martyr because I got kids and I want to take care of, and I got grandkids. But I'm definitely not going to comply. Prison wallet. I got a C camp. Can you use the same slide from a 357 SIG as a 9mm? No. And I just sold today. I just sold my Flat Dark Earth SIG P320. I've sold 3 of my P320s. So I don't have any P320s anymore. I read all because I don't carry them because I got the P229 with the red dot. So I didn't have any need for the 320s with the red dot anymore. But let me see. What was I going to say? I sold it today, and it's originally 9mm, but I have the 3-7 SIG conversion kit for it, so he didn't want that. So I took that off, and I'm going to sell that separately. But because I got some people locally that asked about if I would sell it separately, but I said no, I goes with the other gun. But then I sold the gun without it, so now I got to. The guy I sold the gun to today looked very much a lot like Colin Noir. From a distance, I was like, you're trying to trick me. You're Colin Noir. But then when he got close, I was like, nope, that's not Colin Noir. But he looked very much like you, except much smarter. Let's see here. What was I getting ready to answer? There was something. Sammy Lovey just wanted to send money to the puppies. I have a German Shepherd and Boston Terrier. I love Boston Terriers. I like German Shepherds too, but Boston Terriers are so cute. Abe at my local gun shop over at Sporting Systems in Vancouver. If you're ever in that area, go over and say hello to Abe. He's usually in there. But he's my favorite employee of the gun shop. Probably the smartest too of most of them. At least the second smartest of the employees. So he's one of my favorites there. And that was from Sammy Lovey, donated for that. And he's got a picture of like some little mer kid. What are your thoughts on X? That's funny because I was just going to mention that because I was mentioning going downtown to the gun shop, and X Products is just right down the street from my gun shop. And if you walked in my gun shop today, there's a box on the table of all kinds of smashed X Products where he just decided he wasn't going to resell them. So he just broke them and put them in a box. And which it's really, unless he bought, it doesn't hurt X products because he already sold them to him. But, it's the thought that counts. He's making a point and he's standing on principle. I'm going to go, hopefully tomorrow, I'm going to have some time to go down and actually take a video about X products in front of their store. So I'm going to have my son film it while I stand there and tell you what I think about X products and the asshole. And you didn't hear this from me, criminal that runs X products, him and his whore wife are in their jacket. And I'm only calling her names because she's wearing fur, and I'm totally against wearing like minks and stuff like that. I am I don't like to say I'm an animal rights guy because I don't think animals have rights. What I am is I am a humane person. I am a believer of human responsibilities. If we want to be able to call ourselves humane, we have to have the obligation to be humane to things that are below us, like other mammals and lower primates and et cetera. So I think we have an obligation to be considerate to the lower animals. It's not that they have rights. It's that we have an obligation to treat them in a certain way if we want to consider ourselves humans and being humane. And part of that is not slaughtering them just for fashion or prestige. Eat what you kill, or only kill to maintain the integrity and the safety of the environment and the population. Don't kill for just the fun or for trophies. I just don't agree with any of that stuff because that's going against our obligations as humane people. Going out and hunting a deer and then having some good venison, that's American way as far as I'm concerned. Going out and bear trapping and hounding and killing bears for the fun of it, that's just a scumbag. I think I've made my point. You don't need fur to keep you warm. In fact, fur is very inefficient at keeping you warm. Gore-Tex is much more efficient at keeping you warm than fur. Try Gore-Tex sometime. You'll be a lot better off, and it's a lot less expensive, and you don't look like a dick. Yankee, are you going to give up your 19X? And if so, could you sign the case to remember me? I have no guns, but for real, remember me. I am going to be giving away the 19X. I didn't want to say anything before when people are like, why are you buying this? Why are you buying this 19X? You're not a Glock lover. Brr, brr, brr. Well, I wanted to do a giveaway with it for my monthly gun. Like this month is the CZ P10C, which people who win this work will be like, I wanted the Glock. No, I think the CZ P10C is a little bit better gun. But giving that away this month, which I will give away this coming Sunday, as long as I don't forget it's my chat. This Sunday I forgot it was a chat. I was so freaking busy that by the time we got over and sat down to eat Japanese food, I was like, oh, it's not very busy in here for Saturday. And my son's like, it's Sunday. And I was like, oh, fuck, because I've forgotten my chat. But I won't forget it this Sunday, or at least I hope I won't, because I'm getting older. But I hope I get older. The alternative's not that great. But no, someone's saying no leather gimp suit. I'm okay with leather suits because, you eat the cow. You don't just skin the cow and throw it away. You eat the cow. Having a byproduct of something you kill, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with sticking a deer head on the wall that you ate the deer. There's nothing wrong with that either. Don't ever anyone think there's anything ever wrong with that. Killing a bobcat just because you want a stuffed bobcat in your room, that's a different story. But leather's fine. I mean, you're going to kill the cow anyway. Why would you want to throw away the stuff that could be used? That's just wasteful. But now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. Hopefully I won't forget my chat Sunday because Sunday I'm going to give away the CZP10C. And then next month's giveaway will be the Glock 19X. The only reason I bought it in advance is because I was afraid that it would come time to give it away. Wouldn't be able to find one. So bought it early. Don't worry, I haven't shot it. It's not going to be used. I've barely had it out of the box. I haven't loaded it. Haven't done anything to it. I'm just keeping it safe until I give it away. So would you open carry an assless chaps? Well, no, it wouldn't. And here's the reason. Because there's no fucking thing as assless chaps. They're just chaps. If they had an ass, they'd be fucking pants. They wouldn't be chaps. So that's one of my pet assless chaps. They're just fucking chaps. They'd be pants otherwise. They'd be leather pants if they had an ass in them. Have you ever received your free Chiappa? No, I have not. I did not, so fuck them. So fuck them. Oh, and you don't have to eat every deer you kill either. Don't get me wrong on that, because we killed way more than we could eat because we had to, because they would come to us because we had so much acreage out there that they'd be like, could you kill 6 deer this year just to cull the herd a little bit? And we'd be like, yeah, okay. We would kill them. We would keep like 2. Then the other 4 we would donate. We would give to, there were lots of families that lived. There were families that literally lived not too far out the road from us that lived in tar paper shacks, basically. So there were some poor people out there. So we would donate a deer to this family, a deer to that family. So we always got it eaten by someone, but the person who shoots it doesn't have to be the one that eats it, as long as it's being put to use. Yankee Marshal for president. Oh, no, that would never work. Too many skeletons in my closet. Adam Jimenez says, I saw your blank, because that was only for Patreon users for right now. Other people will know tomorrow, because I think I'll post that video tomorrow for everybody else to see, just because I don't want to make a video tomorrow because I'm busy, because I got to get this house ready. We're just about done. I've done pretty much everything, gave everything new coats of paint, emptied it out. We got hardly any furniture in our fucking house now. It's like we're living in like a postmodern nightmare in there, because there's very little furniture, because they want you to whittle it down as much as possible. Like in our dining room now, the only thing there is the dining room table and the chairs. The curio cabinets are gone. The side table's gone. The chair and light table and light on the side are gone. In my living room, all the cabinets are gone. The end table's gone. The footstools are gone. The only thing there is the 2 recliners, the couch, the coffee table, and the big TV on the wall. So it's just really been whittled down. In my kids' room, the only thing in their rooms are their beds, their TVs on the wall, and their video games sitting on the floor under their television. That's the only thing left in their rooms other than stuff hanging in their closet. So I had to get all that ready. But then our agent calls today. We were supposed to have pictures taken tomorrow, and they're wanting to wait till Monday because of the snow, because they don't want pictures of the house with snow all over it. And then she said, oh, and I might have your house sold anyway, so we might have to worry about it. So we will see. But to finish what I was reading here, I just saw your blank, and I must say, welcome to the dark side. Also, would you ever do a round table with some of your friends during a chat? Oh, yeah, I don't mind round tables. Justin Heine, how do you qualify to win one of the giveaway guns? Well, most of the giveaway guns are Guns for the Needy. That's TYMP's pistol project. That's the Yankee Marshal Posse's pistol project, and that is where we're trying to give guns to those in need. You just have to nominate someone in need. A lot of people are nominating their spouses, etc. They have to know about it, so I have to have their email information, their contact information. You have to tell us the story about why they are pro-gun and why they want to own a gun, but why they can't afford one right now. And no one's being judgmental. If you're like, I work 2 jobs and got 4 kids and just barely make ends meet, no one's going to be like loser, because I think most of us know how hard it is nowadays to come up with extra money. So I'm just trying to make it as possible for as many people to defend their family as possible. If I give away 200 guns and I find out one person used that gun to defend themselves, then it was all worth it, as far as I'm concerned. If I give away 200 guns and that turns 10 young people who now see their parents being responsible gun owners into pro-gun teenagers, worth it, worth every dime that I spend out of my pocket for it. I'm actually spending your all's money, because you're all paying me to have this channel with your Patreon money, but you're paying other channels too. I mean, we're all getting paid for this. So I finally got to the point where, I'm not a big channel like some of them that are making big profits. I still ain't made a nickel off my t-shirts yet. But my Patreon got to the point to where now it's not about just sustaining my channel and sustaining the donations that I have obligated myself to through my channel, like monthly payments to the Humane Society. Like, I have an automatic payment goes to them. I have automatic payments go to other charitable groups. So now my Patreon actually does all that and has a little left over every month. And I thought, well, what can I do with that little leftover? I like to buy guns, and I like to buy polymer guns, even though I don't like to own polymer guns. Don't like polymer guns. I just like buying them because they're the new technology. So I get to satisfy my urge to go out and shop for polymer guns and buy them, but then I get to give them to someone that actually needs them, because you all made it possible. And like I said, I want to do 50 guns this year. That's including the giveaway to the Patreon supporters, because every month I do give away a gun to a friend and, a posse member, basically. So if you're a posse member, I decide, you know what, I'm going to say do something nice for a friend of mine. I'm going to give him a free gun. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to register. You don't have to buy anything for any of them. You just have to be one of my friends. And I'll send them one gun every month. The other people, you don't even have to be someone who watches my channel. You can hate my channel. You can be a Hickok fan for all I care. You can love Colin Noir for all I care. As long as you're someone who wants to be a responsible gun owner and you're in need and you can pass a background check at your FFL and you're a law-abiding legal citizen and you want to get the gun and you can't afford one and you've got a family protector, whatever, I want you to be able to exercise your Second Amendment rights. So that's what I'm using my money for. Have you ever been bit bad by a dog? Yes, I have. I've got scar on my hand here from where a dog bit me, actually. Where is it? I'm getting old, so it's hard for me to remember it. Was it my right hand or my left hand? It was my right hand. See, right, you see there's the little scar right there on top of my knuckle. That's where one of the, oops, I'm not anywhere near the camera. I don't know if you can see that or not. See the scars here on my knuckle? That's where some of the teeth went in, and then there one went in the bottom here, but it doesn't, you really don't see much of a scar on that one. But he bit me good, wouldn't let go. I had to go to the doctor, and then I found out they were going to try to put the dog down because he bit me, and I completely threw a fit and claimed that he didn't bite me and blah, blah, blah. And so, because I was a kid, I was like 12, and I was not about to have him put down. It was my fault. I reached over a fence to pet a dog I didn't know and got bit. So, yeah, I've been bit by a dog. What was the other part of the question? I've forgotten because I moved on here. How do you qualify one of those gun giveaways? What are your thoughts on extreme risk protection orders? Those I don't like extreme risk protection orders. I don't like anything where someone can have no proof of anything and get your rights taken away from you. Here's the thing. If you think if police officers think we got so many fucking police now that they're just sitting around speed traps most of the time. If someone has real cause to be scared that someone's going to come after them, how about give them some protection? How many guys are going to come to their wife's house, ex-wife's house, kick the door down if there's police officers sitting outside? So did I miss a chat? I know I was just answering a chat about a dog and then I can't find it. Must not been a live chat question. But I think it was something about pepper spray. Believe me, pepper spray is the best thing you can do with dogs, like bear spray or something. Shooting a dog and actually killing it is difficult up close. Period. It's difficult to shoot a dog. Plus, I don't want to end the dog's life just because it's doing what a lot of dogs are supposed to do. So pepper spray, awesome a deterrent for dogs, much better than shooting. A little spritz of pepper spray in the face, and I've never seen a dog not turn around. It's debilitating to us, and our senses aren't near what theirs are. So imagine what it's like for them. But I don't like to kill anything, especially a dog or anything like that, or a mammal, anything that has emotions. I don't like to kill. I don't know, and like I say, I'm not saying that it's bad to hunt for food and stuff like that. I just don't want to do it. It's like I was talking the other day. Someone was talking about, they might have to cull some animals up there in your area and we'll shoot them. I'm like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm okay if someone else does it, but I ain't doing it. I don't want to kill anything. I'm a person who's a lot of people call it wishy-washy. I am very, I analyze my opinions a lot, and I try to analyze my positions, and I try to be able to say, okay, well, maybe I was wrong about this, or maybe I was right about that, or maybe I should change this opinion, or maybe I'll do something different now. Killing something is so final. You don't get the second guess it. You don't get to analyze, whether you're going to change your opinion or not. You don't get to do that because it's final. Once you've killed something, it's dead. You can't change your mind. You can't take it back. I don't like to do anything that concrete. So I don't like to kill anything, period. I don't even like squashing bugs. Like, I will go to a lot of trouble to get a bug in a piece of paper. So I'm afraid to pick them up because I'm afraid I'll hurt them. So I try to get them in something like a cup, take them outside. Like if my cat catches a mouse, I grab her by the scruff of the neck, make her take it by the tail and take it outside. I don't like to see things die. I don't like things to be killed. Just don't like it. And like I say, I'm not opposed to it. I know things have to die. I just don't want to be the one that does it. I used to think differently. I used to hunt and used to all that stuff, but now I don't want to see anything die. I don't want to be the one that kills it. Unless I'm hungry. and then I'll kill to eat. But hopefully I won't ever have to kill to eat. Hopefully grocery stores will be around for the rest of my life. I have the skills if they aren't, but I hope I don't have to use them. I'm really wanting a Beretta M9A3, want an all-metal pistol. You recommend it? This is Julian Huff. Well, yeah, I would definitely recommend the M9A3. Now, unless you're really into the features of the M9A3, there might be other Berettas that I would recommend first, like maybe getting an Inox or getting just a regular Brigadier or something. But if you like the M9A3, it is definitely something I would recommend. I think they're awesome. I love mine. Yankee, when you visiting Texas? Hopefully fucking never. If I'm in Texas, it's probably not a visit. It's probably an extradition. Because I definitely don't want to go to Texas. I mean, I might though, because they want me to come down there for the NRA thing. I might do that, but God, I don't like Texas. I just don't like anybody. It's hot. It's often very dry. There's some mountainous areas of it too, and some forested areas also, but most of it, it's just not someplace I want to be. There's just a bunch of cows and cowboys, and I don't really care for either one of them. That's not something I don't have anything against either one of them, but let's just say I don't want them in my living room. So yeah, I don't got much use for Texas, to be honest. I don't got much use for most places, but of course, there's some places I like that I know are shitholes. Like I was fine with Huntsville, Alabama. When I lived there for years, I kind of liked Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville, Alabama was good to me. And a lot of people think that's a shithole. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a shithole, but I kind of liked it. Appalachian redneck living, or Appalachian, as we say. Because people fight about, is it Appalachian or Appalachian? I'm like, well, I'm from there, and we say Appalachian, so I think it's Appalachian. But then people on TV always say Appalachian. I always tell where someone's from. It's like when we hear, I used to live outside of a town called Herkin, West Virginia. Herkin. And that's how we pronounce it, Herkin. It's spelled hurricane, but it's pronounced Herkin. And we would hear commercials on the radio like, come to Billy's Ford right outside of Hurricane, West Virginia. And people be like, oh, that guy doesn't live here because he doesn't know how to say Herkin. And we say Appalachia. We call it Appalachia. Yeah, Appalachia. I think that's how he's trying to spell it. That's how we say it. Appalachia is something other people say. I say Appalachia. You see that Marshall player got shot and died? No, I didn't see anything about it. I haven't been in Marshall. I haven't been on campus at Marshall for a long time. That stadium wasn't there when I was there. So let's just say that. That big old stadium right there before campus as you're coming in town, that wasn't there when I was there. There was actually a bar there that was my favorite bar called the Varsity, was right there. So anybody in that area remembers the Varsity? That was my favorite hangout when I was in college. Appalachia. Yeah. Some people do say Appalachia. Beckley, West Virginia. I got a friend from Beckley, West Virginia. Actually, I had a couple from Beckley. I think Greg Arthur was from Beckley, and I think Ron Chastain was from Beckley. I think it was Beckley they were from. Where was oh good Lord, I'm trying to think of the name of some place where Bob was from, but I'll have to remember later. Why were you the only one to talk about the cultural causes of school shootings? I don't know. I just don't know if a lot of people want to get into it because it's not an easy topic and it's not something you can solve or take care of. Someone's in Gallipolis or Gallipolis, Gallipolis, Ohio. I actually went to college in Gallipolis while I was in high school. I do half a day at high school, half a day in college. And I went to Rio Grande College, or Rio Grande, as some people would say. Went to Rio Grande Community College. It was Rio Grande Community College when I went there. I think it's Rio Grande University now, if it's still there. But that's where I went. Someone said Bird was a KKK member. Yeah, he was. So was my grandfather. Kareem Ali, thoughts on the officer just stood outside. I've already gone over that, so I had a big rant about it earlier in the thing. So later, go back and watch that because believe me, I had a bit to say about that. Let's just say it involves a firing squad. So I was wondering to see if anyone remembered the Varsity. I don't see anybody remembering the Varsity yet. Someone says they're in Gallipolis. I saw that. Huntington is a speed trap. Yeah. The worst thing about Huntington, though, is there's lots of brick streets. And when I was in college, I always rode a motorcycle. And I don't know about you, but in my experiences, wet brick streets and motorcycles don't go well together. Brick streets are slicker than snot when they're wet. And you don't want to be on two wheels any more than necessary on them. They're just not fun. Varsity is still here. It's not there where it used to be. It used to be where the stadium is. And I think someone may have opened up a new varsity, but what's his name? Keith, the guy that owned the varsity. But that varsity got tore down. It used to be right square smack in the center where the new stadium is. Do they say soda or pop in Appalachia? They say pop in Appalachia. Now, I say soda because of all the time I was in the military. When you said pop, no one knew what you were talking about. So I say soda, but all my family says pop, of course. Soda pop. And if you go down south, it's Coke. I got into that habit when I was in Alabama. It was like, they'd be like, because they come up and say, what do you want to drink? And you'd say a Coke. And they go, what kind? And you'd be like, well, you mean like cherry Coke, regular Coke? They'd be like, no, we got Sprite. We got 7-Up. We got, I'd be like, no, I want actual Coke. But I never say that because I don't like Coke. I like Sprite. Don't like Coke. I like Pepsi. I am the Pepsi generation. I'd like to buy the world a Coke, but they can drink that. I'll keep the Pepsi for myself. Fragging was an on thing. What are they talking about? Soda because of military. Yeah, that's why I call it soda because of the military. Because everybody I knew in the military called it soda. So I just kind of adapted. Did I miss any chats? Let me over here and make sure I didn't miss any. We haven't even got the emails hardly at all night because of all the chats that are coming in. Steve Slayo said in the chat, but didn't ask any questions. Okay, I think I got everything. So let me actually go to an email question for the first time tonight here. Let me go down. Okay. I want to answer this question here from Mr. Anonymous. What do I think about Rob Pincus and USC? I think they mean USCCA supporting Springfield Armory. Well, Springfield Armory guy has gotten desperate, so now they're writing checks to people to form a little cabal with them. Now, I try not to get too angry with people like Rob Pincus and USCCA because it's business, but I am going to hold them personally. I'm going to hold them responsible for who they choose to do business with, and I am going to be dropping USCCA. And I'm hesitant about whether I should make a video about it or not. Because should I just keep it to my own opinion and take my own business away, or should I do something that could hurt what I would consider a pro-Second Amendment business? But how pro-Second Amendment can you be if you align yourself with Springfield Armory? So it's one of those touchy situations. So answer that one. And then we got a question back over here. Green Thumb, Dog Dazer 2 uses a high-pitched noise that makes dogs hit the dirt. Google it. It saved my ass from being mauled a few times because I love dogs. Glad because I love dogs. I love dogs too. And I've never, and like I explained to a guy one time after getting his dog off of another dog, I said, if I would have had to hurt your dog to get it off that other dog while you just stood there, I wouldn't be mad at your dog. I'd be mad at you because you're the owner and you're the human in this situation. So it wouldn't have been the dog I would have been kicking. It would have been your ass I'd be kicking. And I'm a firm believer. I'm more angry at the human than the dog whenever a dog does something, because that dog, I've never met an animal that was an asshole unless they were turned into an asshole by a person. So, yeah, there's my opinion on that. But I'll have to look up that Dog Dazer. Someone said, donated $5 and said, message retracted. That must have been offensive. Maybe they got... I switched to Masad Ayoub's group. Yeah, but that group doesn't really offer you any payment, does it? They just come, unless they've changed their way they do things now. It used to be they would just come in on your behalf for free if you get tried. I want someone that actually pays my expenses, so I got to find another group. USCCA sticker right next to you. Yeah, right there. Because I was big. I am a USCCA member. I was a USCCA supporter. But then they threw in with Springfield Armory, and I'm just like, dude. I sent him an email saying, dude, why are you doing this? These people are pariahs. These people are not pro Second Amendment. They're just big business, and they're all they care about their own bottom line. Never got a response, so I'm done with them. I am done with them. Done with them. Did I get this question over here? Yeah, that was the retracted question. Okay, let me go back over here. QWERTY Dog, Life Enthusiast. Hey, Yankee, I was wondering what you thought of the NAA Guardian and if the Clip magazine release on the C Camp slows down reloads at all. Well, first off, let's just say these tiny little mouse guns aren't things you're going to be speed reloading anyway. But I actually do like the heel release on those guns. That the old European style, like it. So I'm a fan. And I do like the C Camp much more than the Guardian. The Guardian is a good little gun, but the C Camp is the original as far as I'm concerned. It's just awesome. Mike C, thoughts on 223.5.56 ammo ban? If it happens, it'll be devastating, but I don't know if it's going to happen or not yet. We'll see. USCCA has been sketchy to me, too close to the NRA. Well, actually, the NRA kicked their ass out, threw them out because they were a threat to their bottom line when they wanted to start their protection racket. So, and if it's by the NRA, I consider it a protection racket. So, hashtag remove the sticker. If I denounce USCCA, you will know, because this sticker will be gone, and maybe I'll do a video. I don't know if I should or not yet, but this sticker will be gone. So keep your eyes peeled. I sold my mouse guns. I did too. I went through a phase where I wanted every mouse gun because they were just unique to me. What time is it? Oh, we've got an hour and a fucking half. Why didn't you people tell me? We're supposed to be here an hour, and we're an hour and 26 minutes now. Man, you people are horrible for keeping me on schedule. But I did miss Sunday, so maybe we'll just go a little bit longer here tonight since we missed Sunday. If anybody else can stay awake this long. I know it's getting late out there on the East Coast. What time is it on the East Coast right now? It's 11:30 on the East Coast. Most of you old people should be in bed. Anyone in here under the age of 21 and over the age of 50, you should be in bed. Of course, I'm over the age of 50. I should fucking be in bed. Although I don't go to bed that early. Someone said I'm a long-winded twat. I love the word twat. I use that a lot. I always have to say to myself, don't use that word around women. But I use the word twat a lot. And cunt. Like I called my son an ungrateful little cunt the other night. I was like, you ungrateful little cunt. And I told him I was going to kick him in the cunt once too. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, someone called me a twat. I'm quite fond of using that word, but I can't use it around my son. I use it around my sons, and I always have to don't use that word. Self-defense fund is decent and cheaper. I'll have to look into them. Women hate the C word. Yeah. See, now my mother was weird because she never minded being called a cunt. I mean, she'll tell you right out, I don't care if you call me a cunt. Just don't call me a bitch. My mom did not like to be called a bitch. I could call her, we could say anything we wanted to her, mumble stuff under our breath, but if the B word came out of your mouth, you were bleeding. I mean, it wasn't stopping until you were bleeding. I remember my sister called her a bitch one time, and I remember my sister making a run for it. And my mom caught up with her right as she went down the stairs, because she went down the stairs to the porch and went to run through the yard. And my mom just went over the railing and went onto her down bottom the stairs and just whooped her ass. So she didn't want to call her a bitch again. And then I remember they got into a fight in the kitchen one time, and my mom was saying something to her, and my mom looked and my sister yelled at her and said, "Don't be such a woman." And my mom looked at her and says, "You sound like you were just about to call me something different than woman." And my sister went and ran. So that's what you didn't call my mom, was a bitch. She didn't mind being called a cunt. Heath Williams. I've been wondering for a while if USCCA is aware of YouTube demonetizing gun videos. Most of the ads I see on YouTube vids are USCCA, kind of sketchy. Well, USCCA is okay with being on gun channels. So when you see that every one of my videos gets labeled as not safe for most advertisers, you'll have limited ads. Well, ads from like USCCA and other pro-gun groups, NRA, etc. Those are the only ones that are okay with us. So those are the ones we end up getting. So they're giving money to gun channels at least by buying ads. So I'm okay with that. I want to da cha cha. That was from Paul Vasquez, and it makes no sense to me, but he wants to do it. Josh Benware, or Coco Josh Beware, as I said earlier. I'm a rep for us, Texas Law Shield. Let me know if you want a membership. Might be able to get you one for free. I'm willing to pay for my membership. I mean, I'm not destitute. I'm just poor, not broke. Actually, I'm just on a fixed income, which right now sucks because the moving is such an expense because we're idiots. We bought the other house because we didn't want it going away because it was everything I wanted in a house. It was, several acres, but only like 2 of it is like flat land and only like an acre of it's cleared. So the rest of it's just wooded area for wildlife, which there was a cougar up there the other day. When I went up there, the lady was like, "Want to see a cougar?" She had video of a cougar in her yard. And although the people over like, they don't bother the dogs or anything. They stay away if you have dogs. So, which is usually true. I've seen a cougar run from back home. I've seen a cougar. One of our little beagle pups got out, or beagles got out. He wasn't a pup. He's one of the smaller breed of beagles. He got out once and chased a cougar that had come down into the field looking for deer because we had an orchard. I'd never seen a cougar ran like a fucking scalded dog when this little beagle came after it. And I'm like, who runs from a fucking beagle? I've seen bears run from pugs, But here's the thing you got to remember. Animals like cougars, bears, etc., they don't see dogs as dogs. To them, it smells like a wolf. And they make a lot of their decisions based on smell. And they're like, that smells like a freaking wolf, sounds like a wolf. And they know, they're hardwired in their brain, the wolf you see is only one of the wolves. And the others are coming at you from the sides when you see one, so they get the fuck out of here. So that's what triggers in their little primitive brains when they hear a dog coming at them. So they do run from them. Jim Polson donated to the Puppy Fund, but didn't ask a question. And I was saying something before I went off on that little rant, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, I was saying we're on a fixed income, and I'm on a fixed income because I'm retired. And like an idiot, we bought that place. We had a contingency for selling our house to buy that one. That came back to us. She said, no contingency. She's got offers that don't involve a contingency, so she's not considering contingencies. So we just said, okay, then we'll take contingency off of ours. And since ours was in first, will she consider it first? I said, I'm not going to do a bidding war. If she wants people to bid, I'm not going to do it. But I do want this property. I'll pay her full asking price because her asking price was fair. I said, we'll do it quick. We won't make it a big deal. And she said yes, because she knew we wanted the property really bad. And she knew we weren't going to tree it. That was one of the things. She didn't want somebody who was going to come in and tree the property. So we bought it, but we didn't have a contingency for selling our house, which means we have to come up with the down payment for that house out of our savings, which is pretty much all of our savings. I mean, pretty much all of our cash on hand is going to go to buy this house. And until we sell our house, which we have a lot of equity in, we're going to be tight. So that gun that I just bought that I showed on Patreon, that's my last gun for a while until we get this house sold. Because no expendable income, because I don't want to use income that comes in from like Patreon stuff to buy me a gun. I want that money to go to buying other people guns. So I got to make some scratch if I want to buy me another gun. So got to sell this house. So if someone out there want to buy a house, $305,000, it's yours. But that's with me not doing some of the stuff I need to do. The house is valued at $345,000, but there's about $5,000 worth of work I don't want to do. And I said, just list it for $305,000 and try to get it sold quick. And she thinks she got it sold before we even listed it. So hopefully it'll work. Did you see the video on the Indiana school labeled safest in America? I like it. I haven't seen it. I'll have to look it up. That was from Davros von Scaro. Where do these people come up with these names? What was this about CNN Town Hall? I just saw an email come in for CNN Town. Where did it go? I was wanting to see what they said, but I can't find it now. Oh, Kenneth Knox just said, Thanks so much for the gun, Yankee. We'll send you pics as it comes in. Been nothing but nightmares here with my local gun shops. I can't believe how rude they have been. Are you going to NRA meeting with Mac and wear not real activist shirts? I don't know yet. I'll see. But that's one of the winners of his wife actually won the gun. He's saying thank you. Let's see here. It's a pilot school. Do they want to do? Where did I see the? I know I just saw that. Let me see if I can search for it. I want to see what they said. There, CNN Town Hall. Adam Jacobs, Yankee, I just watched the first hour of the CNN Town Hall and was wondering if you watched any of it. If you did, what were your thoughts? I watched a little bit of it, and then I thought, this is one of the most disgusting things I've seen in a long time. This is a major media outlet trying to stage a political event, which was clearly a political event. It was a political stunt is what it was. And it was manipulative, and it was contrived, and it was unfair, and it was just everything that media shouldn't be involved in. So it was actually disheartening. It was just, I'm like, we have no media anymore. Davros von Scaro says Doctor Who. That's right, Davros. So yeah, you made the fucking Daleks, you worthless bastard. You got him to blame for that. So now we know who he is. I still want to know what that retracted message was. I wonder if someone's saying something nasty to me and YouTube censoring it or something. Maybe someone's calling me a twat. I wonder if I'll get this video yanked for saying twat. Because I've said twat a lot in this video. Twat and cunt. I probably said twat and cunt more in this video than any other video I've ever made. So. Someone's talking about what do they use as a defense when they debate Republican boyfriend. He loves the NRA blindly. You need to just start showing them what they've done. Go to Mac's channel and his Facebook page and read up on the NRA and let your boyfriend try to defend that stuff. And look what they're doing now with Trump, trying to give away our rights so that they can pretend like they're against giving them away and fundraise off of it. It's all about fundraising. It's all they're ever about. So just go look at that. Brendan Aguirre. I only got into guns about 4 years ago, but before then I never paid attention to the attacks on the second. Has the push for gun control always been this strong? Yes, it ebbs and flows, and they never fail to take advantage of a bad situation. But there's always been a certain group of people that want the people disarmed, period. They're basically fall under two categories. The people whose power and position in life are threatened by people that are armed, by armed civilians, and the people stupid enough to be manipulated by them into thinking that it's actually better for a peaceful society. And then they always use those lies like, we're the #1 country for gun death, which we're not. We're not even in the top 10 for mass shootings. And then they love to compare us to countries like Japan and Australia and England. Yeah, homogenous countries that don't have big racial divides and don't have huge populations of high-density people living in poverty without social services. Like those countries all have good social programs, low-density populations. Hell, you can spread people out in Australia, and they wouldn't even, if you spread every person in Australia equally out across the country, I don't think they'd even be able to see each other. But they try to compare us to that. Those countries are surrounded by water. They don't share a multi-thousand-mile border with a crime state like Mexico, like we do, that have drugs and stuff with people with guns, drug dealers with guns coming across the border and committing crimes and adding to our crime rate. They don't have gang problems in these high-density, low-income cities like we do. They don't have racial divides like we do, because there's just every minority over there is a 1/8% minority, because they're very monoculture, I guess you would say. Monocultural, I guess. But yeah, so they try to make those comparisons, and they just don't hold up if anyone's got any brains whatsoever. Let's see here. Do we got any other good questions coming in? Beretta 92FS versus M9. I don't know. You like a rail? If you like a rail, That answers the question for you. I actually do like a rail on a gun, even if I'm not going to use it, because I think it makes the gun, for some reason, makes it look tougher. You know, I just like the look. It's purely an aesthetic thing, and I like the looks of it. I think it looked tougher. And I think when you have a fully loaded gun, and if the gun isn't that heavy, but it holds a lot of rounds, like an M9 or you know, if it holds like 15, 16 rounds, I think that rail on the frame actually makes the gun balance a little better. So there's not just an aesthetic quality to it, but the aesthetic quality to it is my favorite part. Hey, Yankee, I'll help you say the word twat. That was from Gerald Cagney, who donated to the Puppy Fund. Hey, Yankee, what bikes did you ride? Do you have a favorite motorcycle? I'm going to have to say the VMAX was one of my favorite bikes ever made. That bike at the time was just a fucking monster. Loved that bike. Always wanted to own one. Never could afford one. I could afford one now if they made it, but now I can't ride motorcycles because I got kids and responsibilities. The VMAX is probably one of my favorite. It's the bike I was the most in love with for the most time of my life, is probably the VMAX. I've usually ridden Hondas, everything from CB360s to Gold Wings. Rebel, I had a little Rebel, had the smaller and the larger version of the Rebel. In fact, the Rebel was one of the first bikes I ever just bought with my own money that was new. Loved it. Used it as a little commuter bike. Loved that little bike. You weren't going to be doing 90 on the interstate or anything. About top speed on it was about 75, but it was a nice little bike. Low maintenance, just great gas mileage. Ridden a lot of Kawasaki's lately. I had a Versus, loved the Versus. The only thing I had wrong with the Versus was I got it when it was only available in red. And then it later started being available in green and orange. And I would have rather had the orange one, but I had the red. But loved the Versus. That was like one of the best designed bikes I've ever ridden. KLR 650, I've had a few of those. I've never really been a Harley guy or anything like that. I'm not into the big loud cruisers. So I liked motorcycles, period. The only one, I've never really been a big Suzuki fan. I mean, I like Vulcans. I like pretty much most bikes, but yeah, it's hard to say with my favorite, but I'm going to say it's the VMAX. Can you recommend a good light for a handgun? That's from Tony Lauber. Well, yeah, hold on a second here. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Because I'm packing all my guns away, I got a lot of these sitting around. I'm glad to take them off. But I'll show you some of my favorites. This is one of my favorites, of course, the Streamlight. And I like the regular, just little TLR 1S, because I don't need super duper lumens. I just need to be able to see. I don't want to blind myself. But these are always a good option. I like the looks of them probably better than some. This is my favorite option, and I like the looks of the best. Oh, that came out of there. But I really like these Enforce lights. I think they look good. This is one of the older gray ones. The newer ones actually are black now, which is a better thing. But these are very nice profiles. They fit. They just blend into the gun really nicely. They're just simple, and I like the little toggle switches that you just click instead of having to turn something like this. I like the little paddles, I should say, instead of the toggles, because the paddles that I think are just easier to actuate than the toggles like this. I don't like the toggles as much. And then there's this, which I really like, this little light, and it's a little push button activated light. But also what I like about this is there's a holster that you can buy with it. This is a Viridian, and the new model looks a lot better. I'm not really crazy about the design style of this one, but the new model actually looks a lot better. It looks a lot more like this. But these are made, they have a special holster that comes with them that you can, if you want, you can set your light on, put it in your holster, it turns the light off, and then when you draw the gun, it comes out with the light on. Because there's a lot of situations where you could use that, where you wouldn't want to have to activate your light. So I like all three of those. I have to say my favorite is probably the Enforced. I just like the way they look, and I like the way they activate, and they're plenty bright for me. My dog is losing her mind in there. I don't know what's going on. I think my son came back home finally. But we've been running a lot longer than normal tonight, and our viewership's dropped down to like 900. So I think people are getting tired of us, and it's getting late. We went for an hour and 45 minutes tonight. So I want to say thanks to everyone for showing up. Thanks to everyone that super chatted. I'll try to put that money to good use, and especially thanks to everyone who's a member of my Patreon. You're not only now are you keeping my channel on the air and helping me maintain the donations I want to make to the things I believe in and the things that most of you also believe in. Because I think most gun owners are animal lovers. I've never met very many gun lovers that aren't animal lovers too, and that fond of veterans charities. I think we're all fond of those too. So it's something we all have in common. So I want to thank for everyone to come in and support me. I want to thank all my Patreon supporters for making it possible. Like I said, you're not only supporting my channel and keeping me on the air now, but you're also doing something awesome by giving guns to people. You've already done like 3 and you're doing a 4th one now. Like I say, we're going to do 50 this year. That's my goal, 50. So we're going to start keeping a tally. Maybe next week we'll start an official tally somewhere, if anyone knows how to do that. But and thanks to like Sporting Systems over in Vancouver, Washington, because they're providing a small hand safe with every gun. They're providing a box of ammo right now with every gun. I've got holster makers that have offered to make holsters for the guns. So right now they're getting a box of ammo and a safe with the guns too. So awesome. So Sporting Systems for helping with that. And they also sell me the guns at cost and ship them for me for next to nothing. So thanks to them. But most of all, like I said, thanks to you all that make it possible, because you're all the ones that make it possible. And I will see you all again this Sunday, which we will give away the CZP-10C this Sunday. You don't have to be present to win, but in case you win, you might want to be present. It's Sporting Systems in Washington, Oregon. It's in Washington. It's in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver. Remember my email is shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. And remember, if you nominate someone for the needy gun thing, it's got to say TYMP Pistol Project. TYMP Pistol Project in the subject line for me to be able to search for it. Tyler Terry donated $5. Didn't ask a question, no. So thanks again, because like I say, you all are making it possible. I will see you all again what is today? Thursday. We'll see you this Sunday. We'll give away that CZ. And then hopefully definitely by the next Thursday, we're going to give another needy gun away. So we'll see you then. And until then, I'll see you later. Well, I got to look at the camera at the end because people say it's creepy.